Oro itself is an Orisha. It's a deity. And the deity is not a deity for public domain. First of all, it's a fallacy. A big fallacy that people are used as a ritual to feed Oro. No. We call upon the Oro to go outside to the city, to pick on all of the negative energies, to see that all of the negative energies within the communities are picked up and returned back to the bush. And that is when you begin to hear the sounds. The whoa, 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 that you hear. It is a sample to show you that Oro has been fed. Our request, Oro have listened to it and has accepted it. There are some others that will come online to say Allahu Akbar, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. And at the end of the day, if they get back to their temple, the question is that at some point I was hungry. It is those who are members of the cult of the particular community that is utilizing the Oro that know within the hands of themselves that the reason why we are bringing this Oro out at a particular point in time is for political reasons or not political reasons.
I'd like you to explain and break it down for us and tell us what exactly is the Oro rites? What are the Oro rites? What exactly is going on? If you can explain to us as succinctly as you can.
First of all, the Oro is a banishing ritual. As against, more or less like the ritual of for those who are conversant with Western mysticism, Oro is our traditional banishing ritual that we use in banishing the negatives within the environment. So you agree with me that our spirituality or our culture understand the concept of spiritual polarity. We know for a fact that there are a lot of positive energies and a lot of negative energies within our societies. We do certain sacrifices to attract the positive energies in our societies, and we do certain sacrifices to repel negative energies in our societies. Because both negativities and positivities work in alignment with each other. We cannot appreciate the value of light without darkness. Neither can we appreciate the value of darkness without light. So in one of the orishas that we use for our own polytheist environment, one of the orishas that is peculiar in saying that all of the negativities are being wiped away is Oro. Every community has Igbo Oro. The way our community is structured. In one verse of Oshetura, when Odumola told the orishas and the normalists to come and put up a lot of things and to come and see that life becomes normal. If I mention the fact that one lagbo Ben, one lagbo Opa, it shows that there are specific places that Olodumare himself knows that this cannot be done within the ambience of the general society or the general populace. So Oro, as a banishing Orisha, is also not allowed to be within the hands or within the purview of the public domain. So Oro is an Orisha that has its own groove separately, most usually behind the community. So first of all, Oro is not consecrated in the middle of the community. There are special and specified groove for Oro. Because when we banish energies, negative energies away from our midst, where do we want them to go to? We are banishing them to a particular place, banishing them out of the larger community. We are creating a small place because whether you like it or not, both good and bad energy cannot survive without coexisting. That is why we are going to continue to have good people, and we are going to also continue to have bad people on the face of the earth. There are certain rites that are done in the Oro, in the groove, where we call on Oro. Oro is not called in the public domain. Oro itself is an Orisha. It's a deity. And the deity is not a deity for public domain. It's in the groove. It's saving the groove. And after feeding the Oro, we call upon the Oro to go outside to the city, to pick on all of the negative energies, to see that all of the negative energies within the communities are picked up and returned back to the bush. So that people who want to live a civil life will live a civil life without the disturbance of any other person or without the disturbance of any other negative energies. and whatever negative energies we so have will be banished to a particular designed and secluded region. So Oro itself lives within the framework or within the environment of the secluded region, also known as Igboro. So when it is time for us to feed Oro, we go to the Oro Grove. First of all, it's a fallacy, a big fallacy that people are used as a ritual to feed Oro. No. These are the type of food that they feed Oro with. Awkwadiye, agbo, obi. Èèwọ̀ ni wọn kì í fóró lórógbó jẹ. So obi, ataire, ọtí, omi, awkwadiye, agbo. Those are the things that Oro feeds on. I've been to many Oro Grove. I've never witnessed a situation where people are used to feed Oro. No, it's not in our custom. Yeah. It is, in fact, it is abolished. It is negative infiltration into our culture that we now begin to hear stories where people use money for rituals, where people use money for people to do certain negative things. In the primary structure of our spirituality, in the primary structure of our culture as a people, we frown at using humans or every part of humans for sacrifices. So after feeding the Oro with whatever materials we have to feed the Oro, excluding human beings as the public domain might think with it, then we call on Oro. Oro stands up, and then Oro goes outside to the public domain to see that every iota of negativity is being wiped out of the community. And that is when you begin to hear the sounds, the woo, 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 that you hear. It is a sample to show you that Oro has been fed. Our request, Oro has listened to it and has accepted it. And Oro has begun the war against negative energy immediately. That's why they say that that is, the war Oro needs to fight against negative energy. We'll never wait till tomorrow. It is immediately after perpetrating Oro that the war begins. Oro stands up to begin the war against negative energy in the community. Now, what happens is that the reason why you see some of us, or some people who come outside to put barricades here, to put barricades there, is to prevent women from saying Oro, because it's a great taboo.
You've just mentioned now that Oro is usually done, or propagating Oro or going to Oro is done in the groove. It's done usually outside the cosmopolitan place where people live. But why is it different in Lagos? Why do people now use that as an opportunity? There are places in Lagos today that if they say, okay, they want to do Oro, they will say nobody must come out, nobody must move around, disturbing or disputing or disturbing people's daily life. So what exactly is going on? Who are these people that keep telling people not to come out to do? Because again, why can't they can't do? During the elections, we did hear that in a certain place in Lagos, they wanted to do Oro, so no election or something must happen. Again, this is what happened during that period. It's not clear if that is what exactly happened, but this is what the public was fed. Why are they doing such things in that manner? What's going on? You've just explained that there's a certain place where it should be done. Why are people coming out and using it as a way to keep people indoors?
Well, thank you for that important question. And I think that is a controversy that is currently happening around the society. First of all, it's also translated as it is the doings of a community are dependent on the agreement of that community. Some community might decide that it's a taboo for them to eat corn, and when you get to that community, you have to abide by the principle of that community. And there's some other community or culture that it's a taboo for them, and that corn is their best food. So you cannot say that community A is bad while community B is good. No. Generally, Oro is always done at night. Generally. Oro kì í ṣe irúnmọlẹ̀ tí wọ́n sábà rìn lọ́sàn-án. However, in some circumstances, in grave circumstances, where the challenges being faced by the community is high, we might tend to increase, or might tend to see that, desperate times might require desperate measures. Now, as regards to the issue of people being barricaded, civil activities being disturbed by virtue of the fact that Oro is supposed to happen. Now, these are whatever I'm telling you is fact, and I'm not mincing words. I'm not a political person, and I'm not going to say that I'm neither APC, neither am I PDP. But that is why one of the reasons why I'm going to say the fact, the way it is. First of all, when we do Oro is a big taboo for women to experience. And when people do Oro, the people who come into the Cosmopolitan are people who are initially in the groove, because they have a cult of Oro. Every community has a cult of Oro worshippers. The people who have been in the groove, who now know that yes, Oro is going out. Oro have attended to us, and Oro has told us that it's time for me to go and fight those battles you guys want me to fight. Oro goes out, and they go alongside with Oro. Then the essence of them going outside is to prevent people who are not worthy to witness the presence of that energy to witness it, so that negative things will not happen to them. Most importantly, women. Men can see Oro, but if you are not initiated into the cult of Oro, you cannot enter the groove. So there are two different things. You can see Oro move about as a man, but you cannot witness the propitiation and the everything about Oro in the groove. Because what you come to see outside is not even Oro, it's the manifestation of the energy. Because you cannot see Oro in the physical form, except for those who are in the groove. So you must have passed through some spiritual rites to be able to, and you must be inducted into the cult of the Oros for you to be able to even see what is happening in the groove. So those who go outside with Oro are people who want to see to the fact that they ensure peace, they ensure decorum within the community. And that is the reason why there has to be proud notice that we are going to do this and this. Majority of the notice is specifically for women, to beware that, because society is becoming large day by day, and there are you cannot entirely control the movement of people, but you can, with the right information and with right communication channel, you can make people aware that something is happening that can be harmful to our female folks. And for that reason, there has to be proud notice. But however, there are some people who have the opportunity, and this is the reason why in some of the publications you see that everybody, as I've said earlier, Oro, male people can see the presence of the energy of Oro, can feel it, can be there. It has no adverse effect on them, except for female. However, there is a reason why the Oro practitioners say that everybody, generalizing the fact that both female and male, because even as you can see as a male person, you can witness it without harming you. There is a limit to what you can, and there are instances where people will go extra mile that maybe I can see this thing. Let me go further, let me enter them, let me live with them. So to avert certain negativity, to avert certain occurrences, it is even better that both male and female that are not initiated are not even readily available to witness what is happening. Because it's another thing to witness what is happening, it's another thing to want to go extra mile to see what you are not even supposed to see in the first place. So that's one. Now, secondly, the issue of utilizing Oro, whether as a political tool or not. Well, it is those who are members of the cult of the particular community that is utilizing the Oro that know within the ounce of themselves that the reason why we are bringing this Oro out at a particular point in time is for political reasons or not political reasons. However, from a spiritual or religious point of view, from a cultural point of view, Oro is always, in most cases, a particular ritual done after the end of almost all the spiritual exercises done within the community.
Activity.
So whether there is a festivity in the midst of, in what the guy says that in the midst of Supremus Commandum, in the midst of happiness there's brutal danger. So in the midst of felicitations, there is also negative energy. So in Yoruba land, when we do felicitations, when we do when we organize events, when we do programs, when we do cultural activities, when we do Odun and all whatnot, Oro is always the last of the deities that we bring out to see that all the negatives left behind, because the influx of people, the conjoining of people, the felicitation of people, the merriment of people can obviously also attract negative energies too. And we don't want this negative energy to linger on within our communities. So the moment we are through with any important project in our community, we call on Oro to help us cleanse. And that is why it is the higher banishing ritual of the Yoruba people. Oro is a spiritual banishing, the higher level of banishing ritual for the Yoruba people. So we have to decide whether to bring out Oro. There must have been an activity that we are doing. Secondly is that specific communities have specific times that Oro is being propitiated. And these specific times are always usually connected to a particular festival, or usually agreed upon by the entire community that so time, maybe in August of every month, we'll be feeding Oro to complete the cycle of our existence as a community. Or maybe before a EB festival or after a EB festival, we'll do Oro to cancel all negativities that might be lingering around after the festival. So each community has a particular either time frame, either program, or either festivity that will require them to bring about their Oro and to ward off negative energies around. However, there is a possibility that the timing of either it is already originally agreed upon, or it was agreed upon after government decisions or government policies. We never can tell, except you are a member of the community of the Oro worshippers in that particular community. But most importantly is that we cannot remove the fact that there is a possibility that the community has a specified time frame to organize their Oro festivity. However, there is room for coincidence, and there is also room for political manipulations. So it is that answer is typically for the members of the particular community that is doing the Oro. And if you look at Lagos critically, because this matter is Lagos oriented, if you look at from the highland, from the Awori, from Lagri, from Ilado, Ilashe, down to Ikate and all whatnot, it is also in line with their Elegba festival. So if you look at the way they do their festivals in Lagos, the most time of Lagos, is that if this community is finishing its own festival, we are moving to the next community, so that we can all do it together. And so most of the time, I notice the pattern in Lagos is such that maybe the month of July, maybe Ilado is having its own today, Ilashe is having its own next week, Ikate is having its own the week after, and then moving on and on like that, because of the unity they have as a community. Because they also have groups and they know when they organize these things. So we cannot say for a fact. It might look like, it might be it, but we cannot say for a fact if the Oro, bringing out the Oro at a particular point in time is politically motivated or not. Secondly is the fact that the Yoruba cultural system or the Yoruba culture believe in the fact that from July downwards signifies the beginning of a new year. Then the Yoruba cultural calendar. And in the beginning of the new year, in the Yoruba calendar, there are certain rites that must be done. And after those rites are done, there are some rites that are publicly announced. There are some rites that are personally or privately done. I'm the Araba community. There are sacrifices we do in certain communities for the betterment. People come into a community and they begin to see progress. They don't know the underground work or the underlying work that has been done to ensure that progress is being done. There are some others that will come online to say Allahu Akbar, Bismillah Rahman Rahim. And at the end of the day, if they get back to their temple, the question is that at some point I was hungry, but I came to realize that this person is the king over the Muslims, over the Christians, and this person has his own religious tendency when people become a king. So we'll come back to that in the future. That's not discussion for today. However, as much as they do all of these things, they have their own. There are some institutions that are there that come together to form the kingship, the king institution. The king itself is an institution. It's an embodiment of compartment of other institutions. So their institution, my office is an institution in its own. The awos, the babalawos in the community. It's an institution. And the way we relate with the king, the way we relate to the crown itself is an institution. It's an institution that encompasses all different forms of institutions. So we cannot underemphasize, as much as the king, some of our kings want to move him mad. Yet we cannot undermine the institutions that are below them, that raise them up to be their leader or their representative. So these institutions, most of these institutions do not readily agree with some of the things the kings are doing. But then they go behind their own back to see that they do what they have to do to ensure that even when the king is going mad, he's moving mad, evil or nothing else or nothing evil befalls the community. So these are the challenges that we are facing as a community.
Befalls the community.
Yes.
Now that you've explained that it's the banishment of negative energies and all, I want you to be as plain and honest as possible. Is there a need for Oro in today's world, in today's 21st century? You understand? Why is there any need for it in, let's say, cosmopolitan state like Lagos, where we have people from different places who come in and try to build their lives and contribute to the society, contribute to the well-being of the states? Is there a need for it?
Aside from Oro, the needs for propitiation our ancestors is because we need to go back. You cannot understand the future. You cannot shape your future if you don't know your history. If you are not connected to your past, then you have nothing doing in the future. There is a relationship or correlation with ourselves and our ancestors, because they are the one we are a continuation of a particular race. We will not be even here in the first place without our ancestors. So we are continuing their work. So we are the cosmopolitan agenda that we have is something that is a continuation of the agenda of our forefathers. And then how do we continue to relate with those agendas if we are not in tune with them? So aside the fact that we are talking about Oro, not even Oro now, every other festivals or every other spiritual exercises that the community is supposed to do, there are certain things that are communal rights for the betterment of the community, for the growth of the community, for the growth of the inhabitants of the community, and for us to see that the inhabitants of the community are in tune with nature. Why do people say, why do people go to do divination if they should probably live in one place or the other? People come for divination and say, oh, I want to move to Lagos. I want to move to London. And they say, no, don't move to London. London will not be favorable to you. Go to Lagos. Because the energy that is in Lagos is in alignment with the energy of your own destiny. So what if the people in Lagos are not energizing or are not charging their energy, are not propitiating the ancestors enough to see that their community is spiritually charged for growth? There is no physical growth without spiritual growth, and there is no physical advancement without spiritual advancement.